I just try to study a bit, practice a bit. Only lasted for, I don't know, a minute. I just muscle tested which acupuncture point or acupressure, like where I best where I should do acupressure, and the point that turned up is the one that I always dread because it's in the lumbar sacral region. I've talked a lot about this area in my last video, quite a long one. So one reason is, of course, that of the whole is the whole blockage there and the associated pain and just feeling of overwhelm. And the other reason, of course, it's hard to actually press use a finger or anything to put pressure on. It's a bit inconvenient to treat yourself on that point. But since I already had the camera running, I thought I'd do it on video. And the point is called Shi Chui, which means the 17th vertebra in Chinese. And I think it's actually I'm really getting cold feet when I even think about this location, because apparently my nervous system goes into almost a kind of shock. Anyway, I think it's just the interspace between the last, like the fifth lumbar vertebra and the sacral bone. But I'll just I'm going to look it up here on my computer just to be sure. Again, I haven't done that for a long time. I was stopped. I haven't like done acupressure with muscle testing for a long time, and in the past weeks, this point always used to come up first, and then I just said, okay, screw it, that's too much. And before that, I used to do that a lot, like muscle test for acupuncture points, and then treat myself via those points, because sometimes it's really effective, and sometimes it brings you a different perspective, especially if you're treating yourself. It's hard to it's hard to do it from an intuitive standpoint without being having those distortions there from your own beliefs about yourself, what is going on, and so on, or even what other people said and what you've read and so on, or just going moving along in a purely rational fashion where you kind of diagnose a problem and then go about treating it, thinking of like a solution and a treatment and going through with it, which I would have to have training and experience with the acupoint system for that, and of course, if you do it on yourself, that's really hard to diagnose yourself for various reasons. I'm not gonna go into that. So yeah, it says on the posterior median line below the spinous process of the fifth lumbar vertebra. So that's what it said. And it's indications pain of the lumbar region and leg paralysis of the lower extremities, which is kind of accurate, and also I don't have paralysis of my legs, but it's really like often, or I even almost say, yeah, I could say it just all the time. My legs are in a state of very strong tension, and so when I lie down, they're just pressed against each other, and that way I'm just laying there, and I'm not sitting, not getting up and doing something. So that for me that kind of resonates with states of paralysis, because it kind of touches on this subject, I guess. And then the other indications would be for women, metrorrhagia, and irregular menstruation. I'm not exactly sure if I think that's, is it excessive? Oh no, it's acyclical menstruation. No, yeah, okay. So learn something new. And irregular menstruation, which of course doesn't apply to me, but well, obviously that is that's that's something partly ruled or influenced by the kidney, what the Chinese medicine would call the kidney system, and I've known since a young age that that's like a major thing, major issue in my body. Yeah, and then it goes on, functions, benefits the lumbar area, strengthens the kidneys, alleviates pain, so like perfect. And then for acupuncture, you would do an oblique insertion upward 1 to 1.5 Chun, which is usually translated as an inch, is said to be, I think it's, I don't know, it should be about that, but it's, that's quite, yeah, that's quite, it's quite deep, but in China, needles are inserted much deeper than in Europe, for example. And oblique, I guess, it's meant to go like this, right? Seems I'm losing my vocabulary. Just means not straight, right? Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do that while the camera is still running. I cannot muscle test for time. And then the other thing is how to find what I really find is the right place, the right location, and that's something I also, it's really it feels really unpleasant and I strongly press in this area, and it's also quite painful. But those are the spinal, the vertebral processes, and that's the last one, and it's below that. And I'm muscle testing if this is the right spot, and it is. Now I'm just keeping my finger there and put my attention there. I feel the energy moving in my body. I'm just checking if I'm actually recording my voice, because I had the Bluetooth turned on. Yeah, let me put my face on camera if I'm talking. I just downloaded the coronavirus notification app for my country. That's why I turned on Bluetooth. I just checked whether or not the Bluetooth paired with any headphones or anything, but I haven't used any of that for quite a long time, so nothing switched on. Because after I went to hospital and came back, so ever since August I haven't listened to any music. I think I did listen to a little bit of music after coming back, but now in the past 2 weeks definitely no music at all. I'm getting a bit better right now. Today it seems. I changed my I altered my medication yesterday, so I'm taking less Ritalin now, or I'm rather taking the short-acting one when I need it, and not so much the long-acting one because it wasn't helpful. And then I started taking another medication, another muscle relaxant that I had stopped taking. I guess quite a long while ago, because it's quite tough on the body. You can really feel how it's affects you a lot in not necessarily a positive way. I started taking more of the medications that I used to take, but I'm doing it on a just as needed. I guess talking about something helps me not to be too overwhelmed by the sensation that comes up when I press the point, which is basically the same sensation I'm struggling with all the time. It's like a intense pain and anxiety, and definitely this depression or sadness. I can't really describe it well. Because I often don't really know what is what. And right now, maybe I should just talk about this area, this specific spot. I also thought today that I guess the big mistake in a way I'm making is, if you want to call it that I'm just putting too much of a burden on myself. So I'm making everything dependent on the fact that I use lots of mental effort and focus, concentration, and like meditation and so on, just to function, and that means it takes a lot of effort, and it's really a struggle all the time, which means the moment I wake up, the emotional parts, or like various parts of my self will already instantly enter a state of resistance, because it's just too much for them, even though I'm trying to actually make it about them and be present with them, but then it's always going into the pain and into the pain, and then it's just too much, and then it's kind of a pendulum that swings back and forth, and so yeah, yesterday it was a real struggle, because I had to submit basically just a copy of my rent agreement to social services, basically, and I would have had to submit it by the 15th. Today is the 15th of September 2020, and so yeah, and I mean, I had prepared the letter and printed it out, and really like got an envelope and written with the address and everything. I guess almost a week prior already, and I've known about that for several weeks, but only yesterday basically yesterday was the last chance, and then in the end I still only managed to do it just right before the post office closed. Anyway, now what I'm now trying is to actually focus in a way less on resolution of the resolution of problems, or the healing, and being in tune with myself at the same time, so as to move forward and not kind of being in a repeating wheel, where I just put effort into getting better or getting things done, and then but doing it out of the wrong state of consciousness or intention. My throat is a bit sore actually, and I really should, yeah. I still got some water here. Really having problems with hydration lately. Okay, I'll just stop my rant here. Don't think there's an actual point I need to get across. Let me test if there's another point. Go and look at. And when I muscle test, I always get extraordinary points. I'm using just a website which lists all the points by meridian, and then there are some points which are not situated on any meridian. So I usually get those. Okay, another point. Another point in the hip area, lower back. This one is called the eye of the hip. It's even more painful even to think about it, even though don't even exactly remember where it is. Okay, it's on the lower back in the depression, 3.5 Zun lateral to the lower board of the spinous process of the fifth lumbar vertebra. So I'm down. And I remember when I was 21, 22, so even before I had that meningitis, that I really hated touching this part of my body because well, my in the flat that I was renting, my toilet and bathroom they were outside, I shared them with my neighbor, and they were out in the hallway. It was a bit annoying because for my neighbors, they had a shower. Somehow they had a shower fitted in their flat, so they only used it as a toilet and didn't really care how clean they left it. And for me, it was my shower and toilet. And so it was a raised platform with the toilet and then the shower over it, and some steps leading up to it, and everything tiled. Wait, I actually wanted to. So that's the fifth spinous process, and that's the fourth spinous process, the lower border of the fourth spinous. And then I'll just go lateral and. Usually for any acupuncture point, and actually the Chinese name is Xue, which actually is something like a cave or a depression, and the large majority of points when you feel them with your fingers, there's actually some kind of depression. So it's actually kind of a mistranslation. It's easier to find them and understand them if you see them as xue rather than points or as depressions. So right now I'm here in the depression, and I can check by muscle testing, and it says that's the right one. Here I mainly feel a weakness, emptiness, like in Chinese medicine that would be called xu, so in the kidney energy. So that makes it quite. So that explains quite well why I just don't have any energy and willpower to do things, because there's this lack of life energy, of kidney energy, this emptiness. Really don't like doing acupressure on these points, so it really helps filming myself doing that. Though I am noticing that my life energy, like my mood, it's like my state of depression is starting to lift a little bit. It's quite interesting. I don't feel anything going on at the points themselves. So when the muscle test, it tells me to keep going. So maybe I'll continue on to talk about something. I really want to get a haircut. I've been wanting to get a haircut for, by now it's a month, literally. That's an old story that keeps on repeating, has kept on repeating for years now, and I haven't yet found any hairdressing place here in the vicinity. So I don't even know where to go. So that makes it even more difficult. Yeah. But what I'd like to see myself doing today is tidying up my room, of course, especially getting rid of the garbage and actually taking it out to the garbage can. Oh, yeah, I feel like it's overwhelming my system just to think about these things. As I've said before, what I'm trying right now is to actually I didn't get to that part. So I'm like, my intention right now is just to meet my basic needs without actually defining those. So I guess it's mostly about emotional needs. But so for example, I would muscle test whether I should take some medication or not, on the basis whether that would help to meet my need because in this state, in this condition, that's the basic. That's like the main area where I do have choice and agency, and everything else is just in every other matter there is no free choice, free will. It's all so obviously taking drugs is not meeting one's needs, but in this condition it seems to work better than the other approaches I had, which were like basically basically it was a spectrum between either how to be most attuned to my quote-unquote true self, to my own self, what would be most healing to my body, most healthy, supporting, nourishing for my body, for my mind, calming, relaxing, and so on. And on the other side of the spectrum, how to get this specific thing done now or as soon as possible, because and for now it seems that it's working a tad bit better the way I've been doing it, like starting last afternoon, last night, and well today, though that's not much time. And I mean, I guess if you go through all the videos, there are a lot of cases where I'm quite optimistic about something, and then of course you don't get to see the time in between when actually everything is really terrible and doesn't work like this at all. So when I muscle test, it's actually signaling that's enough for this point, which is great. And I'll get some more water. Was just thinking if I should even brush my teeth on camera, which makes it really weird, but apparently it does make it feels like I'm able to do that, but if I switch it off, okay, I'll just do that. Quote unquote, it can't get any worse anyway. couldn't really properly finish. I've been asking myself for the past couple of years why it's so jarring for my nervous system every time I brush my teeth. I can feel like how my whole body and mind and everything is in really great state of disarray right now. But yeah, still it was helpful. I'm grateful that it worked with the camera. So now I can drink some lemon water, which after a strong craving for lemon, like a sour taste, like you would find in lemon juice or fruit juice, not vinegar. This is probably a sign of, well, it is a sign of liver energy blockage in Chinese medicine, which has to do with, among other things, well, a bit with the medication, but mainly with the food I bought and ate yesterday, because my current state, I don't have any appetite for anything rather fresh or healthy, and also my allergic reactions, like the baseline is quite high, so I've been reacting to any kind of vegetable or fruit lately for at least a week now, so I can't really eat that. And before that I always had I could feel like when it comes to meat, which kinds would be more beneficial or less beneficial for me, and so I always avoided pork, because I know it would lead to that liver blockage, and then when you don't have liver energy, it's hard not only for the energy to flow freely, but also to just go forward to do things and go forward with a project or something like that. And the same with bread, with anything containing gluten. And but these things were exactly what I bought yesterday, because right now I'm unable to just take some other meat and put it in the oven. Because I'm so unfocused and yeah, you could see in the video before, I want to study for a bit, and I only managed to for a minute or so. So the choice that remains was basically bread and sausage, which contains pork, and I didn't really care, because I couldn't really feel the difference. The blockage is not as bad as I remember it being in the past. I mean, for one, because I'm not I'm not in a state anyway where I can even start doing things. So I guess because my energy is so low, I still don't feel that blockage. Though I remember I could feel that I'm more easily irritated and just feel other people's energy in a more negative way, and my energy is somehow a bit even more blocked. And even now, when I'm thinking of it, I can even kind of feel or smell. I don't know, the taste of sausage of pork in my body. And I'm not sure if I'm just imagining it, if I'm feeling it, or if it's somehow in my mouth and I'm actually sensing it. But it's unless it's there are actually some breeds of pork that don't have this quite unpleasant smell to it, and then of course it's about the circumstances in which the animal lived. So obviously the normal cheap meat is, well, the animal grows in appalling circumstances, and you can really taste that. And then I think pork, but it, as I said, it really depends. There are some. It seems that I'm not sure, but pigs that have a more of a black color, their the scent is I somehow I like it more than the typical pink colored pigs, but I might be wrong on that. I mean, there are many breeds, but unfortunately only few ones commercially sold. And I guess with the scent of pork, it's a bit like garlic. It's when you're, or like onions, when you're hungry, it's kind of a it's more of an attractive aroma, but afterwards it's still I mean, you notice how you yourself you can like smell it on your skin, and then it starts to be rather unpleasant. So it's the same thing for me with garlic and onions. I kind of, or not the same thing, but it's like it's an interesting dynamic as well. I kind of I feel like I really want to have it sometimes because it has a very stimulating effect. It just opens up your energy channels and moves around your energy in your body. Though, when, for example, with garlic, I noticed that, for example, a sauce with garlic that somebody would make and other people would be able to eat without problems would actually get inflammation in my stomach from it, and would last for 1 or 2 days. Like, would really feel the heat from it. So it seems bit sensitive to that. Yeah, but I like to eat it sometimes, but then go back to being without it again. And so yesterday I actually bought some fresh chives, the really small ones, right? And ate it with my bread and sausage, and I really strongly smell or taste the taste in my mouth now all the time. Yeah, I think that's enough for this video, and I don't want to go back to just recording myself talking all day, and these days never really turned out very well either. So I'll just stop and just see how I'm doing. So see you next time.